Hello everybody, welcome to a special video from MinnMax. MinnMax is a place about games, friends, and getting better. My name is Ben Hanson, joined by Charles Harte, video editor extraordinaire.
Howdy, howdy.
And joined by Giant Bomb's Dan Ryckert, or should I say film director Dan Ryckert.
Oh, yes. A film major, film connoisseur, however you want to put it.
As you can tell. What are we about to watch here, Dan?
So we are about to watch a commercial that I was paid to make when I was 18 or 19. It would have been 2003. I don't know if this ever aired. If I were to put money on it, I would say probably not.
And GameStop paid you to make a commercial for Game Informer.
Thousands of dollars because I called them and asked. Yes, we'll get to that. But
all right, we'll explain it afterwards. But without further ado, here is Dan Ryckert's Metal Gear film from Game Informer in 2003.
Have you reached the infiltration point?
Yes, the target is visible.
Good. Remember that magazine is mission critical.
I'm on it.
Ask a GameStop game advisor by signing up for a 10-month subscription to Game Informer. In addition to the magazine each month, you'll also get a discount card good at any GameStop location nationwide. Ask a store associate for details.
So how much? Thousands and thousands for that, Dan?
wait, is this?
We're back.
We're back. Yes, yeah. Well, it was 2003. It was a different time. It was like that. That was kind of the top of the line filmmaking back then.
So we should make it very clear. Like, you didn't work at Game Informer at this point. This is long before you started there.
I worked at GameStop. I worked at the Strang line in Olathe, Kansas. Funkoland. At this point, I think it had changed over to GameStop. That happened while I was working there. But I called GameStop corporate to make this happen.
So any schmuck, no offense to GameStop managers, you're all lovely, but any schmuck could have called me like, could I make a commercial for Game Informer, sir?
Well, that's what surprised me is like, I didn't expect it to work at all. And if they were interested, I expected them to ask for some sort of proof that I like owned a camera or editing software or something. I mean, I had like a $300 Canon camera from Best Buy and a pirated version of Final Cut Pro. So I did technically have that, but they didn't ask. So I just called them and I said like, hey, I'm 18. I work at your Olathe, Kansas location. You're always running these VHS tapes every month in the store. It's like, pre-order Wind Waker, pre-order these games.
Yeah.
And you also want us to push Game Informer all the time. So why don't, I'll make for free, I will make a commercial for you to air in store to get people to subscribe to Game Informer. And I expect to be, okay, thanks. Yeah, kid. All right. And hang up. It wasn't that. They called me back and they were like, okay, well, yeah, we are very interested. The thing is, we legally do have to pay you. So if you could email us a pitch and let us know like your rates,
your invoice,
let us know like a full script of the commercial. And I sent that to you. I actually found, while I was going through some old hard drives, I found the email I sent to them. And it looks like I said, yeah, it was going to be $300 for equipment, which I think I used to buy the crappy Solid Snake suit from a Army surplus store. $400 for my cameraman, my buddy Quo, who was in some of that footage. And then I listed the range of $1,000 to $3,500 for editing and post-production.
You coward.
Wow.
Something like this.
The thing is, it's like at that point, all I had done to get paid, like I was doing like video announcements in high school and Like I wasn't really like, I didn't know what to charge. I did weddings, and at the time, like I charged $600 a wedding. And I remember that was a lot cheaper than a lot of videographers in the area. And so I got a lot of weddings because it was cheaper. And I was like, okay, $600 for a wedding. I'll say $1,000 to $3,500, I guess, for this commercial. But really, I just wanted an excuse to go up there. I just wanted, because like Game Informer was the dream job. So I was like, okay, what is a way that what is my in to this place? And it was this offer, basically.
It works. It works really well. I should point out that if you're watching on MinnMax's channel, thank you. You can always jump up to the Backstage Pass tier, where you can watch the unedited live version of the podcast every single week, extended versions of all of our travelogues, a lot of stuff in there. If you're a fan of Mike Minotti, you can watch him and I in Disneyland for 4 hours with the extended travelogue. One of the best days of our lives. It was lovely. But that's at the $10 tier, but you get the full unedited version, basically just the raw digitized tape of this entire adventure from Dan visiting Game Informer for the first time in 2003, which includes some interview stuff that will be airing in a documentary that Charles cut together tomorrow on MinnMax's YouTube channel. You can always subscribe for that. But Charles, this is not just any Metal Gear parody. This is what they're watching right now on MinnMax's channel. This is the remastered version. This is the
Remastered.
Remastered.
Yeah.
That's right. Subsistencered.
Just real quick, one part of this I hadn't put together. So you were living in a different state than this occurred.
I was in Kansas, and I called Texas to have them send me to Minnesota. So basically just I-35, just the whole way up and down there, yeah.
Did you fly?
They flew me to, yeah. And at the time, this was 2003, I'm sure you could do this stuff online, but they sent me a like big manila envelope in the mail with like plane tickets for me and Quo and a check for, $3,500 or whatever it was total. And so I just remember like getting that in the mail and being like, there's no way. And like I went to the bank being like, this isn't going to that's not real. You can't just make this happen. Yeah. And then I remember me and Quo got off the plane at MSP, and we're standing there with our like duffel bags and stuff, still being like, how is this? This shouldn't have worked. Like, how did this happen?
It turns out GameStop is not a very intelligent company, which we know for 1,000 different reasons.
Now forever, straight up dipshit.
So
it just has such a different flavor. I didn't know you were paid. I didn't know you were coming from a different state, and I very much just thought it was like GameStop guy from a store a few blocks away. It was like, can I come and bring my camera and shoot a commercial one day?
I had never been to Minnesota.
Everyone's just being really nice to you. Okay, so yeah, that's wild.
Charles,
and you command yourself with such confidence. I could never muster in that situation.
I don't know. I heard my voice on some of that footage, and I don't know if confidence is the word I would use.
You guys like video games. More of that tomorrow. Okay, so Charles, this process I think is really fun. So basically, we're doing the Metal Gear Delta treatment to this old footage, because what we had is Justin Leeper, who's a star of the video and an old editor at Game Informer. He had a version of this uploaded on his YouTube channel from back in the day, but it was like 240p, compressed and really rough. And so we just took that audio and then digitized Dan's tape and sent this over to Charles then and said, Charles, recreate shot for shot using the best version of the footage that we have. It's basically the Beatles Get Back, I guess is what we're doing here.
Basically like that.
It's like Psycho with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, I'm AI all the dead Beatles, you could say. It's really fun because you do video edits and you have to make all these like little decisions yourself of like, should I cut this a little shorter? Should I do this? You'll do something and come back the next day. Like, no, I'm going to throw it all. I'm going to do it differently. And this is really nice because it was like doing a Lego set or like a puzzle where I'm like, well, it needs to be this many frames. I gotta search through the bag for this specific clip and put it in there. And it's weirdly at the end of the tape for some reason. I don't know why some of the footage is at the end, some is at the beginning, but we figured it out.
And a bunch of it is missing too. Like I really wanted to find, when my grandpa passed, I remember I was going through all these DV tapes trying to find like any footage I had of him for like the family. And I could not find that one because he's the guy in the codec call that plays like the Campbell character. And I remember he's never done anything like this before. And so he's just laughing the whole time. I remember my grandma's holding a lamp and trying to like angle the light at him. And so it's like, oh man, I wish I could find that tape. But that was the one I could not find. But even I think you like up-res the codec and everything on that one. So made it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to recreate it. And then we had super rough footage of you in a GameStop, again, being your very confident self, Dan. And that was a weird situation. I was like, well, we don't have that tape. So then what do we do with it? It's like, and then Dan, I'm such a moron. I reached out to you and I'm like, maybe we can put it in the game. Is there any part in the Metal Gear series, I'm trying to remember, where there's a giant projector screen? It's like, oh, you mean the iconic projector from the tanker in Metal Gear Solid 2?
I thought you were like screwing with me. It's like, oh, maybe the most people looking at a screen thing that's ever happened in video games.
That's such a stupid thing to blank out on. So Charles, thank you for loading up your save in Metal Gear Solid 2 and capturing that.
Yeah, I played an hour. I had already played all of Metal Gear Solid 2 earlier this year, so I was able to move through it faster than... Because I mean, okay, the other thing about this, I was 3 when you filmed this. So a lot of this was me being like, oh, this is what people thought back then. This is how things used to be done. I was just like not conscious. So all this to say, playing Metal Gear Solid 2, if this had been my first time, it's just like a weird control scheme people don't use. So that was like, I was glad I was prepped for it. But,
you're fully ready.
Great time.
Oh, little note here. I originally asked Reiner to be Solid Snake.
Oh, interesting.
Because I figured he had the dark hair and he had the facial hair and
Spitting
things like
image.
that. What's that?
Spitting image.
Yeah. And, he's a shy guy. I guess he did not want to be,
Really?
he declined it. And Justin Leeper was like, I'll do it. And so he was our Snake.
That's how he got that last name. He was so eager to do it.
Yeah.
He was, Reiner's notably absent from this footage also.
That was interesting.
It's like, but he was there. He was there during that trip, and I remember that the guys were super nice to me. It was like Reiner, Andy, and Helgeson and me went to Cuzzy's, that sandwich place like near the office. Yeah. And I remember, just to timestamp this, I remember Reiner telling me, like, we were talking about Star Wars. You know, Reiner's a big Star Wars guy, and he's like, yeah, I know some stuff about the next one that's coming out. I know some stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, what? And Revenge of the Sith was coming out. He's like, I don't know if I should say. Don't know if I should say. And I was like, oh, no, come on, tell me. He just kind of like looks around Cuzzy's, and he's like, all right. Chewbacca's going to be in it. That was his big scoop. I was like, oh, man.
Booga! You spat out your Cuzzy's burger.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You can watch all of that raw footage if you want to see truly what it's like for Dan to... I mean, your first real step in the game industry. This is it. Like, they're your first interactions with these people that would define your life.
This was years before I wrote my first published review. You know, I started reviewing in 2005 for the newspaper. So, like... Yeah, this was the thing that kind of set things on that course. This is why I knew those guys. So when I started reviewing games and going to E3, I would see Helgeson, I would see Andy, I would see Reiner, and I would bug him and I'd be like, hey, I'm reviewing games now. You should hire me. Remember, I'm the guy that brought the shark suit up, you know? I have the issue here, the Jade Empire one, where in GI Spy, there is the shark suit. That's me playing Aquaman at Miller's desk when I was there. But yeah, this is like August 2013 or 2003.
Oh, that's amazing.
Issue, yeah.
Again, you can jump up to the Backstage Past Year if you want to help support independent games media here at MinnMax. And in the Discord, we'll be sharing the link for that full version of the tape, which is like hour 15, something like that. If you want to see
all the raw footage from the commercial.
All of the raw footage. Please enjoy. We hope you enjoy the celebration of Game Informer here at MinnMax. We have a lot of stuff up there. If you want to watch Dan interview Hideo Kojima, we finally aired that long lost interview. It's a barn burner. We have the big Game Informer reunion on the MinnMax Show podcast. It's also on this YouTube channel if you want to check it out, where we got 20 former editors just to tell old stories and laugh for 3 hours. It was a really fun episode with a huge crew, and it worked out quite well. So that's also on this channel. If you want to watch a tour of the interim Game Informer office, I'm glad we got that recorded before GameStop kicked everybody out of there and shipped that stuff down behind their vault at their headquarters now. So we have a final glimpse of everything that was in that Game Informer office and all the treasures in there and stuff like that. And the extended version of that tour is also at the Backstage Past Year if you're interested. But all right, a lot more coming up. Like tomorrow, we have the documentary that Dan also shot at Game Informer. That'll be airing on our YouTube channel, so I hope you enjoy that.
But didn't have to edit. Thanks, Charles.
You're welcome. I hope I made it moderately coherent.
You did. Yes.
Absolutely. All right, we'll be back next time. Charles, you want to give a plug for anything here?
Check out the Indie Informer. I've been writing some stuff there, thanks to Jill Grote. And if you like indie games, you like Indie Informer.
Awesome. And Dan?
Yes, you can find me at giantbomb.com and also on your podcast platform of choice, the Fire Escape Cast.
Awesome. All right, we'll be back tomorrow for more. Thanks, everybody. If you thought, hey, this video wasn't bad, well, there's a whole lot more like it on MinnMax's YouTube channel. Please help us out by subscribing to our channel and checking out the MinnMax Show podcast, also available on your favorite podcast app, the best, most thorough discussion about games on the internet with the deepest dive, our monthly community trivia show with prizes called Trivia Tower, and a whole lot more. Thanks so much for your support, everybody. All you gotta do is click that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it.